Hop in the mystery machine. We're back here with Scooby Snacks and Chats on the Brazilian Dragon Podcast Network. I am a holly jolly snowman. My name is Felipe. I'm the titular Brazilian Dragon. And today I'm joined by someone who knows how to fix a glockenspiel. It is Jules. Jules, welcome back to the Scooby-Doo Podcast.
Hi, Felipe. It's so good to be back on the pod.
We missed you so much. The last time you were here was Scooby-Doo and Where's My Mummy, which was, I have to assume, 3 years ago at least. But
Yeah.
what's the life update or the update of things you want to talk about? How are you doing these days in February of 2024?
Well, I cannot remember where I was the last time I recorded with you, but currently I'm coming to you live from my apartment in New York City, where I am moved out from my parents' house, and I'm living the life as a quote-unquote big girl in the city. And I have no idea. I have no business being here, but that's what I'm doing.
Yes, you do. How dare you? Don't talk about my friend Jules
I am
like
a 25-year-old teenage girl.
Same.
Simply like that.
I literally had boy dinner a few days ago. What it was, I don't remember. It was
girl dinner every night. It's literally carrots or cauliflower with hummus or guac. It switches.
My boy meal is literally microwave vegetables and a stovetop mac and cheese, and that's
delicious.
My lunch. Boy lunch.
Delicious. As you should.
But we're here to talk about Scooby-Doo Haunted Holidays, as the title of this podcast refers to. It's been a minute since we've been on the Scooby-Doo grind, but we back. Jules, what is your experience with Scooby-Doo Haunted Holidays? Did you also just watch it this week for the podcast? Because that's what I did.
Yeah, I just watched it for the pod because there's so many specials, movies, and so many just. Yeah, the franchise is huge. I didn't even know that this one existed. Oops.
Me neither, but it was a bite-sized 22-minute episode that we love. We love to see it. And it was a holiday episode, even though the holidays we celebrate right now is Valentine's Day or Singles Awareness Day, as opposed to Christmas. But I love a good Christmas special. They're Christmas in February. I'm here for it.
I mean, I don't know if you listened to the Sabrina Carpenter Christmas EP that came out a few months ago.
I have not, but I am aware of Sabrina Carpenter.
Well, you should be put on it. Anyways, I still listen to it because I think her songs still slap even in the middle of February.
I did listen to the Matt Rogers Christmas album, which was hilarious.
I don't know who that is. Enlighten me.
He's a podcaster, comedian. He was in Fire Island. He does Las Culturistas with Bo and Yang. And he did songs like Hottest Female Up in Whoville. Also, It's Christmas, Lube for the Sleigh, Rockefeller Center, I'ma Have Your Back This Christmas, God and His Tricks, I'm a Real. He's a comedian and podcaster and actor, and he's hilarious. The skinny white twink, we love him.
Hottest Female Up in Whoville.
We're going to do a listening party when you come out to visit in Los Angeles, whether it's June or December. We're going to party hard. Also, before we get started on this Scooby-Doo podcast, if you don't know Jules, she is obsessed with animation just like I am. What are the top 3 animated movies in your roster these days? What are things that people need to watch that are sleeper picks?
Sleeper picks? Oh, that's the thing. I feel like I'm really into the obviously mainstream.
Okay, go to the mainstream then.
But I mean, I'm just gonna go off of my ones that live in my mind rent free, and you're just ones that I love. Kiki's Delivery Service,
classic.
It's probably my favorite. Obviously Studio Ghibli. I have to say Spider-Verse as well is up there.
So
I watched the first 2 together back to back last year, and I had never seen it. And the storytelling, the soundtrack, just the pacing of both movies, overall, it felt so complete. And to watch them together, I was just blown away. And last one, I don't really have one off the top of my head, but I for whatever reason, I just always go back to Shrek.
Classic.
The humor, and especially in Shrek 2, the humor.
You think human Shrek is hot?
He's not my type.
Okay.
But I guess he's somewhat handsome. I wouldn't really go for him.
I feel like so many people say human Shrek is hot.
I do see the vision. So I can understand the girlies fighting over him.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. My dad's trying to call me, so I'm just telling him I'll call you back in a few minutes.
Bye, Daddy.
Have you seen Klaus?
Yes, I
It's
have.
so
I like.
good. That speaking of holiday movies, that's a
Oh
great one.
yes, holiday movies. Oh, and Polar Express is my
Oh
favorite
my god,
Christmas
so
movie.
good.
Favorite Christmas movie, yeah. Overall, is the Polar Express.
It's iconic. What are your favorite holiday specials or movies as we're talking about this right now?
Oh, okay. Definitely my top 2 specials, the Drake and Josh Christmas special,
Love
Merry
it.
Christmas, Drake and Josh. Ho Ho Ho, Merry Bathtub, iconic. Um, and this was like on Cartoon Network back in the day,
Grandma
but
got run over by a reindeer.
yes, that little clip of Aunt Mel, I think, and the other lady when they're singing with like the little like animated scene when they're just dancing and they're like singing about like um grandpa's gonna sue the pants off of Santa, if something like that. Do you remember that?
I feel like I haven't seen this movie since I was like 8, but I remember watching it. I remember like sitting down and watching it on a Friday night for sure.
That one clip when they're
And it
just like
like aired
dancing.
after all of the Christmas Dog, right?
Oh yeah, all of the other reindeer? Is that what
That
you
one, yeah.
Yes. That one was cute too, but it just doesn't like
It doesn't hit
do
the
it for
same way.
me
Yeah.
as the others. But yeah, all up there. But of course, most of them are all like animated stuff because that's
Yeah.
my life.
Did you ever watch Snowed In at the House of Mouse?
No,
Which
I
is the
haven't.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse had a comedy club, the House of Mouse.
I know. Yes, that
And
I
then
know.
the Snowed In at the House of Mouse was my favorite because it was like 4 little shorts. It was like
Snowden
Mickey's
at the house.
Christmas Carol. It was Mickey Nutcracker. There was one about how Donald Duck and his nephews built a snowman. And then there was, what was the other one? Oh my God. Like those are 3 of them. Let me look. Snowed In at the House of Mouse.
I love the theme song for that so much.
Yeah. No, that was so good. That show was amazing. Pluto's Christmas Tree with Chip and Dale. Oh my God. That was from 1952? Wow. Okay.
I don't even
Wow,
know
wow,
what that
wow.
is. There's so many classics and like Disney stuff and all that stuff that goes back years that I've not seen.
It's
Yeah.
so good. So good. Scooby-Doo also has had some good Christmas specials. If you want to go back to the archives, my friend Lindsay joined the podcast to talk about Nutcracker Scoop from the 80s, which was a good time. But we are here to talk about Scooby-Doo Haunted Holidays. And I had never seen this one before. And I got to say, I had a great time. It was a nice little 22-minute romp through an adventure. I had a good time. It got me in the holiday spirit today on this February 18th.
Right? It was a little cheesy, I will say, but I liked the pacing of it. But also when it comes to like children's animation, it kind of is a bit too on the nose to
Mhm.
make it make sense for the kids. So like I get why it was like written like that.
But also, I was bamboozled. I thought it was way too obvious that it would have been Fabian, so I was like, it's not Fabian. It's gonna be the actor Santa Claus. I was snowed in like I was at the House of Mouse.
Mm. I didn't think it was Fabian. I was silly. However, I thought it was him, the uncle, or the uncle's like
Friend.
yeah,
I forget
whatever
his
like
name.
was
Like the
like
janitor dude.
yeah. I thought it was the one of the 3 of them, but I didn't think it was Fabian. But I'm a silly goose, and
Yeah.
I
I thought it
of
was
course
just
it
so
couldn't be
obvious
him.
that it
Of
was
course it was
Fabian.
him. Of
But
course it was him.
I have to like think about history, and usually the person who tells the backstory of the town, oftentimes I feel like is the culprit because they like
Yeah.
are relying on lore to like be like, oh, it's the ghost.
It's been a hot minute since I've
Was
watched
the
anything Scooby
was the
related,
last
so
one you watched for Where's My Mummy for the podcast?
no, I've definitely seen something since then, but I'm not a regular viewer. Oh, however, I do often watch clips of Mystery
Yeah, with
Incorporated?
hot dog water.
Huh?
Isn't that Velma's girlfriend, hot dog water?
I don't know, but I see clips of that on, like, TikTok.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
I need to get in that. I'm a bad Scooby Doo
I heard
fan.
really good things about that
Yeah,
one.
no, I've heard great things. I need to get on
Oh,
that.
And then there's was it just called Velma, right? The flop.
Yeah, it was. Did you
What-
watch it?
I never watched it. I didn't really have an interest in.
It did get better. I'll say that. Damning with fake
Oh,
praise.
you've seen the whole thing?
I've seen the whole thing. It did
I mean, that
slowly
makes
get better, but not by much. It was, I think, let me look at my rankings from last year for my television shows. I ranked them all at the end of the year.
Ooh.
This Velma was my second to last show last year. It was
Out
at
of how many?
26 at 27, only beating that 90s show.
That 90s show. I never even gave that show a chance. I didn't give either of them a chance. Who was your number one?
Oh, Never Have I Ever, I think.
Okay.
I watched that last season in a sitting. One sitting.
Yeah. Me too.
And at the end, I was like...
Because it came out last June, and I
Yeah.
binge watched it right before it came out.
And my take about Never Have I Ever is I think you could do another version of the show because I think it's such a unique high school series because it has the celebrity voice. You just break
I loved him.
Brand new kid, but you can use the Sherman Oaks High sort of setting, and then you can have some of the teachers crossover. But Davy and her friends can be gone, and you don't have to even bring in her mom or her sis or her cousin. You can keep it a separate show, but just have a couple of the teachers because Mr. Shapiro unhinged. That man. Wild. And I love the guidance counselor. I love the principal. You could still have a couple of characters cross over, but it could be a completely new kid. And I think they should consider it, but I also understand IPification. People are exhausted by it.
Fair.
We'll talk about our pop culture takes at the end for sure, because I definitely want to ask about what you've been keeping up with. But let's quickly go through this recap, and then we'll go on tangents, of course, as well, because we always go on tangents here. But we are start the movie off, and first off, what did you think of the little intro credits? I love them.
Already blanking on me.
Okay, they had these little animation of them all in a sled, and it was very cute. It was directed and produced by Victor.
Oh, okay.
Victor Cook. But
yeah,
we see
that at the end.
Yeah, that was also at the end, but they did one little small one
at the end.
But we also get so we start the movie off, and Scooby and friends are celebrating with the parade. They're all in costumes. They're enjoying the fun. But Fred is next to Havros Menkle, the owner of Menkle's Toy Store, and he's unhappy because his toy store isn't doing well business-wise. The sales are going down. And Havros... go ahead.
Sorry, it just always goes back to a toy store.
Yep. Every Christmas story, I feel like a third of them are about a toy store.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. This is our podcast, Jules. You cut me off whenever. If you have something to say it loud and say it proud. Havros is stressed, and he's okay, I get it, but he's getting paranoid. He's suspicious of it, and Fabian apologizes for his uncle's behavior before a monstrous-looking snowman starts attacking them. Scooby and Shaggy run as the snowman chases them, and the snowman causes a blizzard using his breath, which ruins the entire parade spectacle, and people run around with chickens with their heads cut off.
Yeah.
Do you like a good Christmas parade or a Thanksgiving parade? Maybe.
Always.
Always.
Yeah,
if you were in a Christmas parade, what role would you want to have?
I mean, there are only so many characters you could choose from. I guess might just have to go with a classic elf.
That's a good take. I would want to be a snowman.
Oh, fair. I'm just thinking that's a classic fit that the girlies would go to.
True.
I wouldn't want to be Mrs. Claus. I feel like that's too much.
No. I don't want to be Santa Claus, even though they might typecast me as Santa Claus.
LOL.
I want to be a snowman. Or what else
snowman?
is there? Could be I don't want to be a reindeer.
Yeah,
I could be a gingerbread man.
Gingy from Shrek.
Not the gumdrop button.
Oh my god. That was a good impression.
I love Gingy. Gingy is underrated in the DreamWorks cinematic universe.
Not the gumdrop buttons.
The Muffin Man.
Do you know the Muffin lives on tree? I was watching that scene on TikTok a day or two ago.
Oh my god. Shrek content is unhinged. Are you aware of the Shrek 5 rumors?
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so ready.
I think Shrek 5 is coming. And
Supposedly this year, right?
I don't think this year, but
Next year. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure Toy Story 5 is also coming out.
Toy Story 5 is
Like
supposedly
in the
coming
works.
out. Okay, but this is what I want the plot of Toy Story 5 to be. Bonnie has Andy's kid is about to be born, and Andy goes back to Bonnie and is like, "Hey,
I
now that
want
she's
these toys
older, I want my toys back." And then they have to go looking for Woody, who's off with Bo Peep, and they come back, and then that is the end. No more Toy Story afterwards. Let these characters sleep.
Fair plot idea, because I have no idea what they're cooking up, and I have no idea what they could even come up with, because
I just don't want to be upset again because I am sad that Woody and Buzz are no longer friends right now.
I wait, really?
I mean,
Because I've seen Toy Story 4,
well, they just
but
ended separated. Like Woody stayed behind with Bo Peep.
I blocked that out of my memory because I only associate it with Toy Stories 1 through 3, and
The best one
that's
is 2. Let's be honest.
I used to go back and forth between 3 and 2, but I think overall I might have to go with Toy Story 2 because of the nostalgic factor.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly why.
I love the Barbie scene where they're just driving around in Al's toy barn.
I love Alice Toy Barn. I sometimes randomly, no one's talking to me, and I'm like, I can't believe I have to go all the way to work on a Saturday, all the way to work, and then he crosses the street.
There's like a Twitter page that posts that every Saturday. Have you
I
seen
love
that?
it. Also, that's like the guy from Jurassic Park, Wayne Knight. He's like,
Wait,
that's him. That's Al. I'm
I
like,
don't know who that
iconic.
is.
And then there's also like, I saw a TikTok the other day that's like me trying to do my company mandated like HR things, and it's like Ham with the clicker, like clicking through it. Sorry for the podcast listeners. I was tapping my computer to try to recreate it, but Rex, I don't want to use my head. I love it. Love it. Also, I can't believe Rex is also Blair Waldorf's stepdad in Gossip Girl.
Cyrus?
Yes, Cyrus is Rex, Wallace Shawn.
Oh my god. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Oh, I probably knew that at one point, but I just did not ring a
He's
bell.
also the guy in The Incredibles that's Mr. Incredible's boss, and then Mr. Incredible throws him through a window. And he's like, "Not
Wow.
happy, Bob. Not happy." We're just quoting movies to each other. This is not a Scooby-Doo podcast right now, but
I mean, this is just what lives in my mind rent free.
yeah.
Animated movies.
This is why we need to do more podcasts together. Honestly, kind of disrespectful that we haven't done more podcasting together.
Speaking my language.
Yes. I am the box ghost. I don't know why that came out of my body right now, but that
No. What was it? Come on, you stupid butterfly. That's one that always is in my mind rent free from the Jimmy Neutron movie.
Oh my god. No, my favorite is like, this is the worst halftime show ever when Sheen is like watching the movie. That literally made me howl a few years ago when I was watching the movie. Sheen is so funny, but we also hate that he went to Planet Sheen and became a colonizer.
Because he was a comedic relief character
Yeah.
in Jimmy Neutron, and I remember like someone made a point to me in college how comedic relief characters do not make good main characters themselves. There's like a
You're
whole
not
like,
wrong.
and like that changed my way of thinking because they make spin-offs starring the comedic relief, and I'm like, you can't centralize their personality based off of like their humor and chaoticness. Like you need more of like a normalized
Yeah,
main character
exactly.
and then have comedic reliefs to the side. It doesn't really work vice versa, in my opinion, at least.
100%. There's a reason why we enjoy Jimmy Neutron more than we enjoy Planet Sheen.
And this might be a hot take, but I like Jimmy Neutron a lot more than the Fairly Odd Parents.
I mean, no lies detected. I love both, but
I like both.
I did pick Jimmy Neutron, and like you have to pick 5 on those Instagram story things.
Okay.
And I did not pick Fairly Odd Parents. I think Fairly Odd Parents was my 6th that I had to cut out. Like, honestly, my hot take, listen, I love SpongeBob and I love Jimmy Neutron, but I think Jimmy Neutron per episode has more LOLs, even though SpongeBob I feel like has more memes.
Fair.
I just, every time that I watch Jimmy Neutron, there's like something out of pocket that happens that just like cracks me up. Like, that show is cracked in the best way.
I need to rewatch Jimmy Neutron.
I also need to rewatch it. Like, so sometimes I will get super stoned and watch Jimmy Neutron, and it's a good time.
Do you have Paramount Plus or something?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Is that the only streaming service I assume you could watch?
Jimmy Neutron, I think the movie was on HBO Max. Let's see. Just watch.
Oh, also, weren't they saying that they're thinking of merging Paramount and Peacock?
I believe I did see that.
I saw that on Twitter.
Oh, if you have Pluto TV, you can watch Jimmy Neutron sometimes.
Who has Pluto TV? I don't even know what that is. I've heard of it.
It's a one of those channels that like you can watch stuff, but there's commercials, like old school style, like cable, basically.
Oh, okay. I have not.
It's basically cable.
Cable.
All right, let's go back to Scooby-Doo because Fabian brings this gang into this toy store and he's like, okay, stay safe from the snowman monster in the cold. And he calls them the snowman, the sinister snowman, and explains to the gang about the sinister snowman curse caused by a man named Vladimir Harstikor, who used to live in the old mansion. And he tells the story of the history of the man and his uncle's conflict and the history of it. So the gang decides to go investigate the abandoned old mansion to find out what's happening. They split up, of course, they always split up, and they pick up clues like the liquid nitrogen, the evidence, all the stuff that they find, the fireworks, and Shaggy and Scooby get chased again by the sinister snowman, and the whole gang ends up running away from the mansion. I feel like if I was in any of these, you could not. Like, I know Scooby and Shaggy like are always like, no, can we not split up? And I would be the same way. I'm like, no, you are not leaving me wandering around this spooky mansion and all the cobwebs in the attic. Like, I will stay. I will sit my ass down, crisscross applesauce with some hot cocoa. You tell me when the mystery's over.
And it's always, Daphne and Fred running off together as well, and it just leaves Velma to herself.
I don't know. Like, I will not participate. You go catch the monster. You come tell me what happens at the end, and I'll take credit for it. I'm not a spooky girly. I don't like horror.
I would just wander with a group. I wouldn't go alone.
Yeah, I'll go with the group if I have to be forced into it, but I'm not going by myself. Also, I feel like Fred, Daphne, or Velma should like take one for the team and let one of them go with Scooby and Shaggy instead of like letting the scaredy cats by themselves and then the brave ones together.
Yeah, such a common trope. But for comedic purposes, you always have to have the two clowns together.
Yeah. Oh my god. I love those two. They are so funny. They're so stupid.
A great duo.
Now they all end up gathering back at Menkle's toy store and they plot out their next move with Fabian. Scooby and Shaggy get into disguises. The rest get frozen though. So they're investigating the boiler room. Go ahead.
That just bothered me that like the three of them got frozen like so easily.
Yeah.
So quickly. Like how
are they like lazy and
not like dead? I mean, maybe that's just like me being like too much of like a party pooper and just like not like believing in like the Christmas spirit. Like, oh my gosh, like they're gonna come back. Like it's okay. But like, come on, if someone gets frozen, they're not coming back.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I did laugh earlier in the movie when Shaggy picks up Scooby, who's frozen, and he just like uses him as a like sled. But also like later in the movie when like Fred is like, how does he unfreeze just by himself and then like presses the elevator door?
I wrote that down in my notes. Like, how did he like somehow break his arm out or whatever, and then just like get himself out, and then he like presses like the button for like the elevator?
I don't know, but it's giving sexism.
Yeah, he just does whatever, and the other two girlies are like unfrozen.
They stay frozen, but Fred somehow is able to get out, and then he like rescues them. I don't know, giving damsel in distress.
He rescued them with like pressing some button, like a door or something, and just I don't know, like open and close, whatever. And when it opens again, they're just like unfrozen. And I wrote that down, thinking like, no, I wanted to see something happen.
I'm with you. I was like,
the magic of animation. It doesn't give you answers. It just does it for you.
Exactly. But they get frozen while they're investigating the boiler room. Meanwhile, the sinister snowman later makes its way to Shaggy and Scooby, and they run away into Santa's village, where they meet the actual Santa and not the Santa actor that we met earlier. And like the first time I watched it, I did not even realize it was a different Santa. I was like, oh, Santa actor is nice now. Okay. And not even realizing that it was actually Santa because I was not paying enough attention.
Fair.
It was pretty obvious that it was Santa when they were like, oh, Santa helped us. Oh, like, oh, it was the real Santa. Because then we see at the end that it was not actor Santa. But I was like, I was sus on actor Santa for the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think he was the villain, but I was thinking, like, what is the point of, like, a cranky Santa? But now that I've seen the whole thing, I see.
Because then I was like, oh, it's actor Santa. He's trying to trap Scooby and Shaggy. Because I don't know. I was just like in my delusion.
Delulu.
We get the Sinister Snowman catching up to the three of Santa and Scooby and Shaggy. Chaos unfolds. The trio of Scooby, Shaggy, and Santa decide that they can get help if they can get the frozen glockenspiel working again. But like, isn't a glockenspiel like a little like xylophone? What? This is a
I
bell
don't know
tower.
what that is.
Let me look up glockenspiel. Yeah, it's like a xylophone. I don't know what they were.
Rari.
Yeah. But it's located at the top of the toy store. They rush towards it, and they're chased by the snowman. Meanwhile, like you said, Fred, Daphne, and Velma somehow break free, and they go to find Shaggy and Scooby, while Santa fixes the glockenspiel and gets it running again, and then he disappears.
The real Santa.
The real Santa. So, like, I was like, if it's really Santa, though, he could just, like, tap the thing and probably fix it. He doesn't need to, like, actually do work. I feel like he could just, like, poke it.
Wait, so the glockenspiel is, like, those moving like characters that were like frozen or something, right?
I guess it's like the carousel bell thing, but I thought in music class in elementary school, the glockenspiel was like a little xylophone.
Yeah, whatever that like animatronic thing that was like moving around that was like frozen, right? Weren't they like?
It was just a bell tower, and then they called it a
years
glockenspiel.
though?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's the glockenspiel. It's like the little carousel thing with the bell.
Yeah, yeah. But, like
I've never heard it called as a glockenspiel before.
My question is, why was that like if the main issue was that those things were like frozen, why were they frozen for 20 years and why didn't anyone try to do anything about that in 20 years?
I don't know, capitalism, laziness, I don't know.
Yeah.
You make good points. But again, the magic of animation.
I think I'm taking this too literally. Maybe that's just
But that's why we're here. If we're not going to dissect this movie, then what's the point?
Fair. I mean, I'm just being a bit too critical, but
we love being critical in these movies. Yeah, so they end up breaking free, and the Sinister Snowman comes into the glockenspiel room and chases Scooby and Shaggy around the room. As soon as the clock hits 12 a.m., though, the mechanical elf that is part of the glockenspiel tries to hit the bell, but the Sinister Snowman gets caught up in the way, causing the elf to hit the Sinister Snowman instead and making the monster collapse. Also, what did you think of the monster being able to, like, shapeshift?
That bothered me, because that is not possible.
Right?
Because I was like, at this point, it might as well be, like, a paranormal, like, out-of-this-world type thing.
There was, like, it looked like the worm from Dune that they made the popcorn buckets about. There was one thing.
Dune.
No, it's okay. But have you seen the SNL sketch about the Dune popcorn bucket?
I have not seen the SNL sketch either.
It looks like the worm from SpongeBob.
The Alaskan bullworm.
Yes.
See, I know that.
She knows her pop culture references that matter.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who's your favorite SpongeBob character?
I'm sorry?
Who's your favorite SpongeBob character?
I think I'm just gonna do I think it's funny because like someone asked me this recently. I think after I'm like it's a tough decision because I've like watched the show obviously for like 25 years. Growing up, it was like Sandy because she was a girl. But I think overall, even though he does annoy me often, I think I have to go with SpongeBob.
I love SpongeBob. I am SpongeBob though, so
because I mean also I'm a bit biased because like I've met Tom Kenny before. I have his autograph.
How did you? Oh, at like some convention?
Comic-Con.
Nice.
I met him and I think his name's Roger Bumpus?
The guy who plays Patrick?
Yes. Or Squidward. Maybe it was Squidward?
Voiced by Bill Fagerbakke?
No, not him.
He was in one of the Disney Channel Christmas movies, The Ultimate Christmas Present, the guy who voices Patrick. Squidward. Squidward Tentacles.
Squidward.
Roger Bumpass?
Yes. So I met Squidward and Tom Kenny. Oh, but also to continue on this little spiel, what was it? When my brother turned to 25 several years back, I made him a birthday cake that said, "It's funnier than 24." 25. And I had a photo of that saved on my phone, obviously. And when I met Tom Kenny at Comic-Con, I showed him a photo of that. He loved it. He had me DM him that image on Insta, and he posted it to his story.
What? And you didn't text me?
Oops. I think I have a screenshot of it somewhere.
Okay, you got to send me the screenshot after this podcast.
And ever since then, I've been following him on Insta.
I love him. I love that man. He was also Raimundo in Shaolin Showdown. That man has a stacked IMDb.
Oh, and doesn't he do, is it the Ice King?
I think so, yeah.
Or one of the characters from Adventure Time?
He also, I think he's married to the woman who plays Karen.
Oh, yes!
Oh my god. I love this man, Tom Kenny. What an icon. He was Dog and Cat Dog. He was the mayor in Powerpuff Girls. Like, what an iconic career. Filmography. Like, homeboy has credits.
And this is Tom Kenny, right?
Yeah. He was Mumbo Jumbo in Teen Titans. He was Raimundo. Okay, he's white, but he was playing a Brazilian character. I like that pass. He was the Penguin in the Batman animated series. He was Cupid in Fairly Odd Parents.
Cupid. Wow.
He was Eduardo in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Eduardo? Oh my god.
He plays a lot of Latinos.
Okay. Just to go off on Foster's, the main cast of the Imaginary Friends, well, not really Blue, but like Eduardo, Coco, and Wilt, I love them. There's like no bad main character besides Blue, but I love the three of them. And
my favorite is Cheese.
Cheese. I like chocolate milk.
And then also it's so smart because blue cheese, but also mac and cheese.
Yep.
Genius.
I think Coco was like my favorite growing up, but now I think Wilt might be.
I love Eduardo. Eduardo's so fun. Also, he is older than my parents, Tom Kenny. Iconic.
How old is he?
61.
Yeah.
Wild. He has 2 kids. I wonder if his kids are our age.
Imagine.
Yeah, one is born in 1997 and one was born in 2003, literally the same year as me and my brother.
Imagine being the son or daughter of SpongeBob.
They probably hate it, I would assume. If Mac Kenny or Nora Kenny are listening to this, please let us know. I would love to interview you.
You should try to reach out to one of them if you're able to find any contact info.
I will try, but I also don't want to cease and desist. I'd be like, can I interview you about your dad?
Fair. You know E.G. Daily? She voices.
Yeah, she was on The Voice.
Oh, really?
She was on season 5 of The Voice, and she sang that Faith Hill song. Just I'll find it for you. Tommy Pickles?
Yes, because I follow her and her daughter on TikTok because they have a very close relationship, and the daughter like eats it up that she's like the daughter of E.G. Daily.
Oh my god, I'm sending you this. Also, E.G. Daily, kind of a MILF. Sorry, that was inappropriate. I am so sorry.
Girl, you're fine. Well, I mean, I don't know how like the listeners feel, but like saying that to me, you're fine.
Quay, if you're listening to this, I apologize. So I was at this comedy show. I was doing an open mic, and it's the QT open mic. Everyone go support Wednesday nights in Los Angeles at Third Wheel Comedy, 7:45 to 10 p.m.
If I was there, I would support.
And Quay, literally, I'm making a joke about my Scooby-Doo podcast, and Quay goes up, and she's the MC, and she's like, oh my god, y'all, I've been a fan of this podcast for so long. This is like me meeting my celebrity crush. I was like, oh my god, dying of embarrassment, but also so cool that someone found me from the wild and like knew who I was. And now Quay and I are working on a Scooby-Doo podcast where we're gonna go do the Scooby-Doo escape room in Northridge, and we're gonna podcast about it after. I'm so excited. Quay's gonna come on the podcast multiple times, and I'm so excited for our friendship to develop. But what an iconic moment, because I was just like,
they just like started listening to you randomly and they like found you. Oh my
I do want to know how Quay found this podcast because I want
wow.
to know how she stumbled upon little old me. But listen, I am excited to work with Quay. She is so funny. I highly recommend if you can find clips of her on stand up. Let me go follow at Quay Tan, QUEITANN on Instagram. And she's amazing. She's been in stuff like How to Get Away with Murder and American Horror Story. She's hilarious. Highly recommend you check her out. Go support my queen, just like she supported me that night. She's an icon.
That was so wholesome.
It was, and I'm such a fan. Like we ride for her all day, all night.
I ride for you too.
Yes.
You are, but yes.
Well, she knows who you are, and you will know who she is. But yeah, we're making friendship happen. And I'm just gonna clip this and also send it to her. Be like,
Cross country fans and friends.
we're such a fan. She's iconic. Like, go support the QT open mic on Wednesday nights here at Los Angeles at the Third Wheel. Let's finish up the Scooby-Doo recap, though. We get the remaining gang members. They arrive in the Glockenspiel room. They unmask the snowman, and it's Fabian under the snowman suit. And Havros and Cleet, who is like his cousin, I don't know who he is, but they're like arriving with the police, and they're like, oh, his previous paranoid behavior was caused by the suspicion that he had stolen most of the money. And Fabian wanted to like push his uncle out of the business so he can sell it for profit, meaning that Havros' suspicion turned out to be true. The police arrest Fabian, and the gang talk about how they manage themselves through the chaos. And at the same time, they realize real Santa left with the sleigh because the other Santa is in a dumpster, and he's like, get this germ off me, or whatever he says.
The Santa actor.
I mean, Santa actors probably get a bad rap because you have to like have all these snotty children sit on your lap at the mall. You probably get underpaid and like get abused by all these parents and Karens. Like, I do empathize with the Santa actor, although he didn't have to like take shots at the Scooby-Doo gang. They did nothing to him.
Say like I do this every year. Like, so don't do it.
Like,
get a job.
You can go work. There's like probably stuff that's hiring. You don't need to. I get background acting work is fun, but like
and you gotta pay the bills. I get it, but like you don't have to be miserable and make everyone else around you miserable.
Exactly, especially when you're off the clock. Scooby-Doo didn't deserve this beef.
But of course, they wrap it up by having Scooby fill in as Santa.
Yeah. Have you ever played Santa in any production of anything?
Girlie, I have never been in a production for anything. I'm not an actor.
You do give theater girly, though. Maybe it's the Pop Showdown of it all. I feel like Pop Showdown was where all the cracked theater kids went and hung out.
That's so funny. I was never a theater kid. Never.
That's so wild.
However, if I were to do high school again, I would like to have done theater, not be like in the production, but like production stage, like management.
Ooh,
and, like,
you did like, techie.
Crew. I would do like crew stuff because that could have been like a good segue into like stage work and stuff being on set for, you know, what I do now, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So regrets, but high school.
I wish I had been more involved in theater. I think just because in my high school you were supposed to be involved in a lot of things that like I kind of like dabbled too much in a little bit of everything. I didn't really like have one main focus, and I wish I pushed myself more in like theater as opposed to like I don't know what else I was doing in high school. But yeah, high school
was not like how I am now. Like now I don't shut up. I talk so much to anyone,
and we love it. That's why we're on a podcast.
Thank you. I feel like I'm so social now going. Like I am a little like awkward at times, but in high school no. I was so awkward, so quiet. I
wish I had the confidence that I have now back in high school.
Yeah, me too. I just had such bad social anxiety that like I remember I had to like recite a poem in front of like my English class freshman year, and I like forgot it because you had to memorize it, but I started crying in front of my class and I was just humiliated in front of them for like the rest of the year, and I would just not talk in that class like ever again. It was just my daily life in high school. But anyways, now I don't shut up.
We love it. That's why we do podcasting.
Yes.
But to be fair, I also didn't shut up in class. Usually, like I was that kid who always had something to say.
Good, because I wanted to be like that. I just couldn't.
But then I like also was so out of pocket and probably way too annoying. But like, listen, annoying kids grew up to have podcasts, so we love it.
No, maybe you talking.
anyways, we finish up. The gang is a new day. They're solved another mystery. They can go back to normal for the toy store. And the following day, the Havros' toy store is filled with customers, and the gang can be seen in costumes helping around the store, having fun. Like, I'm sorry. I hope they're getting paid for their labor, because not only did they solve the mystery, but now you expect them to work for free. I hope this was not a volunteer position in a paid position, especially with holiday pay. Because I don't know. I don't work for free no more. Except for this podcast, because I'm trying to build it up, but this is a passion project. This is different. This is the side hustle. We don't do unpaid labor for others.
Yeah, I'm never doing that again.
But yeah, that's Scooby-Doo Haunted Holidays. Do you have any things that you want to add about this?
No, I mean, I feel like I've like kind of said it already, but I thought the pacing was pretty good because like nothing felt too slow or boring at any point. It was kind of just kept on going, like where the plot was taking you. I thought the dialogue was a little cheesy and like too on the nose, but of course, when it's like a children's thing, like you have to make it a bit too obvious for like the kids to understand. I overall like I thought it was like pretty fair and decent for like a Scooby movie, pretty like a generic one, I guess you could say, but I still enjoyed it. Like I'm not gonna say no to like any Scooby thing. So
all right, you want to hear some voice cast fun facts?
Sure.
So Carlos Alazraqui was the voice of Havros. He was also Spyro, as was Tom Kenny in different Spyro the Dragon stuff. But do you want to know who this man played in The Fairly Odd Parents?
Juandissimo?
Yes!
No way!
Juandissimo Magnifico, Denzel Crocker, and Sheldon Dingleberg.
No way.
He was also the Taco Bell Chihuahua in the Taco Bell commercials.
Oh, now we're talking. This guy's stacked.
Yo, we also have Crispin Freeman, who was I don't recognize. He's in a lot of anime, like English dub for animes. He's also in The Bad Batch. He was Iron Man in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. So lots of cool stuff. I'm trying to see anything else that
These
he's in.
actors are so cool. They just they blow my mind with the work that they do and the multiple characters are able to do.
It's so fun to see like what they do. Animation. He was also Maverick in Wolverine and the X-Men, which is super cool. Yeah, he was Menkle Fabian. He was in Spider-Man, the animated series, as Mysterio and Spot. We also have Fred Tatasciore, who is in Beast in Marvel Media, which is super cool, and Volstagg and Hulk also.
Okay.
Animation is so cool. Oh my god, he was in Mucha Lucha.
Oh
my god, he was Pacha in The Emperor's New School. Pacha, Emperor's New Groove, underrated.
Yeah, it's a feel good movie. It's silly, and I liked the show as well.
I did too. Oh, he was also Deathstroke in Young Justice, which is Slade in Teen Titans, basically the same thing.
Oh, Slade?
His other name is Deathstroke in a different version.
Okay.
Oh my god, he was in a ton of Ben 10 stuff. That's so cool. Oh my god. Anyways, do you have anything else to add about this film?
Not really.
No worries. Let's get into our segments then. So we have our segments that we do on the Scooby-Doo podcast. I will open up the spreadsheet. So first off, we do the culprit game. Jules, who did you think was the culprit of this project? And spoiler alert, I got it wrong. So it's okay if you got it wrong.
No, I thought you got it right.
No, I thought it was Actor Santa. That's what I thought it was.
I thought it was. I knew it was like I knew it was Fabian, his uncle, or like the associate or whatever. But as time went on, I thought it was like the uncle or his like associate. So I clearly got that wrong.
So you said Havros?
Is that the uncle?
I think that's his name. I'm being honest, I don't remember, and I just closed the Wikipedia page. But...
yeah, I have the Wikipedia. Like that's what I keep glancing at on my phone to like reread the synopsis, and I'm like, I think that's Havros.
Yeah, Havros Menkle, and then there's also Fabian Menkle.
I should have known. I feel so silly.
It's okay. You're good.
I knew it was from the 3.
But yeah, so no points adjustment. That means that
Oh.
I have the same score of 29 and the guests have 27.5. Let's go to the MVPs and LVPs. Now, we talked in the pre-show who you were giving your LVP to. Do you want to go off on your rant about who in the core 5 is getting your LVP?
LVP, and that's like the loser?
Least valuable.
Yeah, Velma.
And why? Pop off.
I mean, this isn't a good reason, but like, but when I saw it happen, I'm like, girl, this happens to you every damn time. You drop your glasses every freaking time. She's like, Jinkies, I can't see with my glasses. Like, girl.
She needs to like have one of those like goggle ties around her
pissed
head.
me off because like she lost her glasses, and when she puts it on, something was coming straight for her. Forgot what it was, but like something was coming right after her, and she's like, "Oh my god, I wish I couldn't see now." I was just like fed up with her.
You make good points.
I was fed up with her at this point.
I also think that's probably the reason why you gave her your LVP last time, if I had to guess.
Actually.
Yeah.
Oh wait, but then again, I mean, in Where's My Mummy? It bothered me how she wasn't like she wasn't entirely on the same team as like the gang.
Yeah, she kind of disappeared for half that movie, right?
And she like, I get it, she was kind of like protecting like the mummy and just the Sphinx and whatnot, everything that was going on there. Like, she's kind of more like involved with that. But I don't know, she wasn't totally honest with the gang, and she kind of like hid from them. From what I remember.
I feel you. Just to keep it diverse, I'm gonna give it to Daphne because I feel like Daphne was kind of unmemorable in this movie. Like, I could tell you things Fred did, I could tell you things Shaggy did, I could tell you things Scooby did, and then I was just between like Velma and Daphne. And Velma also, like, I kind of was annoyed that we saw that Velma found this like Christmas card of like the guy who is supposedly the haunter.
Oh, yeah.
And then we never like see like it until the end. I'm like, Velma, you could have done something with this information.
Yeah, right. He turns out he's in Miami the whole time.
Yeah.
Miami Beach.
Which, like, catch your son, King. Anyways, in terms of the MVPs, do you want me to go first or do you want to go first for this one?
You can go first because like I'm between 2.
All right. I'm giving mine to Scoobert. I was just so happy to see my favorite dog get back in the game. So I don't know. He just had me cheesing. I was between Scooby and Shaggy for me.
Yeah, because it was the 2 of them who essentially did it together.
Yeah, Fred kind of got trapped in the icicle, and like Fred, like, I don't know. Sometimes Fred can come up with interesting contraptions. But we didn't even talk about like Fred's like their code names. That Fred was like, "Oh, this is Ascot to glasses," and I was like, what? And then like Chin Hair or something was Shaggy. Like wild names. But were you gonna give it to Shaggy or Scooby as well?
Yeah, it was between Shaggy and Scooby because in the show at one point they had said how it was the 2 of them who essentially uncovered and solved mystery.
So just for the official record to state, who are you giving it to?
I'm gonna have to go in agreement with you and do my boy Scoobert.
Love it. Also, can we talk about the fact that someone called Shaggy Norville? I'm like, how do you know his real name? He didn't he didn't talk to you at all.
Yeah.
Now, just to reset, since it has been a minute, I have given Scooby 10 MVP points, and his total is now 24, which has him far and away in the lead. Velma has 21. And then we have Scrappy with 3, Freddy with 5.
On the board.
Hey, there was some movies that it was just Scrappy, Scooby, and Shaggy, so we had to like make it a little bit more interesting.
Okay, do you want to hear a hot take?
You like Scrappy?
I don't mind him.
I also didn't mind him in the stuff we watched, but also I can understand that maybe he's more annoying in the show.
Yeah,
we were just, like,
I haven't seen like everything with Scrappy Doo, but I recall like seeing stuff with him in it when I was younger. It like went over my head. I didn't think too much of it. I didn't think he was like a bad character or anything.
Do you know the story about Tim Curry in the live action Scooby-Doo?
I mean, I'm sorry?
Tim Curry, like, okay, apparently I thought this was a true story, but I thought Tim Curry refused to be in the movie because he didn't like Scrappy.
Did he voice Scrappy?
No, he was supposed to be Rowan Atkinson's character in the live action one.
Who's Atkinson? I'm so sorry. I'm like, who's who?
The live action Scooby-Doo. Mr. Bean, the guy who plays Mr. Bean.
Right. Oh my god, yes, I know. I know who that is, yes.
All right, I'm gonna have to read this article later because I cannot read and podcast at the same time. Too difficult. Anyway, so yeah, Daphne has 12 and Shaggy has 15. And then in terms of LVPs, Fred is by far and away the leader with 29. Shaggy has 19.
Good.
Velma with 12. Daphne with 9. Scooby with 6, only because Scrappy's in less stuff, so he has
Yeah.
5. But so yeah, that's our
Good
spread.
for Fred. Finally, Fred. He's
Uh,
so.
Fred's such a himbo. What do we want?
He is a himbo. But Daphne is just like the classic damsel in distress.
I love Daphne. I love when Daphne gets stuff to do because sometimes Daphne is kind of just in the background. And I don't like my girl being disrespected like that because she's way too talented to be in the background.
Fair.
Jules, I don't know how we've gone 50 minutes and a half doing this movie. I felt like this was going to be in and out, but we're just like so chaotic and unhinged together.
Like, all tangents about other things.
But I love it.
Even though you mentioned a lot of like voice actors who do credits and like other things like I haven't seen, so like I feel bad like I cannot add to that.
You're good.
But
okay.
No, when you just talk about like animation, just anything related to that, like girl, you would get me like interested.
Yeah. Also, this came out like a week after Big Top Scooby-Doo, which is the last thing we talked about with Lisa. It came out in October of 2012. Like, what? This is a holiday movie. Why is it not coming out?
Or maybe just over 13, but like, oh my god.
Love it. Yeah, oh, dang, we're old.
Yeah, that's my point. I'm
right.
just a 25-year-old teenage girl.
Exactly. I gave this a 3.5 on my Letterboxd. If you want to follow me at Brazilian Dragon, I give it a 3.5. It was just a nice, easy watch. I think I was going to give it a 3, but they used the Nutcracker soundtrack, which I go ham for. So I think I bumped it up.
The Nutcracker. Wait, so have you seen, I think it was the Tom and Jerry Nutcracker special?
I have not. I need to add it to my list.
Okay, because I would watch that like year after year.
I throw my ass to Tchaikovsky and the like. What? No skips in that soundtrack. What are you giving this, Jules?
I would give
5.
3 out of 5.
A 3 out of 5?
Yeah.
All right. With your score and my score averaged together, this is a 3.25, and it's solidly like in the middle. It's a solid 3.25. One of our highest rated stuff in a moment, but also who knows anymore because we've been doing this podcast for 3 years now at least. Anyways, Jules, with all that said, any final thoughts about this production of Scooby-Doo and the Haunted Holidays?
I need to do a solid Scooby-Doo rewatch.
I do no, I do not need to say that. I watched all of these, but it's just been so long overall. I think I'm over halfway done at least.
Right. Because like, I know I've seen Scooby-Doo. I've seen like a variety of the movies, episodes from like the various reboots of the show, but I want to like rewatch at least a few decent ones that I watched when I was younger because it's a good franchise.
It is a good franchise. Well, you also always have an open invite. I know we're past the time when you were younger, but feel free to come back. Oh, and you will be coming back on the podcast.
I'm coming back.
Jules is an unofficial regular host of this podcast.
I'd like to come back.
Yes.
I have free time on Sundays.
The only issue is that we're on different time zones.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing.
I will stay up late for you, King.
Yes, and I will wake up early for you sometimes.
And it's also great because I don't have work tomorrow, so that's perfect.
Slay. We love that. But Jules, where can the good people of the social media keep up with you? And what is a pop culture plug that you think people should be checking out that isn't related to you? But also, if you have stuff related to you and you want to plug that feel free.
Oh, so like anything pop culture related that I think people should know about?
Yeah, what are you watching these days that like everyone should check out?
Oh, I'm like trying to think. Oh no, I definitely like have answers for this because
first off, plug your social media if you want people to follow you there.
I mean, if anyone's interested, jul.barry is my Instagram. Go follow me there.
Yes, go.
That's really it. Like, that's really it. Like everything else is just like a Finsta for like Twitter or TikTok. It's just like joke accounts. That's all I ever do.
We love the joke accounts.
Yeah, that's me on social media. I definitely have like things in mind for like TikToks y'all should follow.
Plug it.
The one that's coming to mind at the moment, Jasper the doll.
Gotta look this up. I'm not aware.
It's so unhinged.
Oh my god, this is terrifying, Jules. What the hell? I am removing that from my search history. That was terrifying.
No, it's so funny.
That's like scarier Cynthia from Rugrats.
That is such a good analysis. A good
Cynthia,
analogy.
Cynthia had a rough day, and that's her twin brother.
I would love to dress up as Cynthia for Halloween.
Oh my god, iconic! I want to be something slutty this year. A male, like I'll be slutty Mario, and like.
Ooh, okay, when I think slutty, I think
come to LA for Halloween. That's what you have to come out because that's your birthday era. That's a birthday trip for you.
Yeah, you're gonna be 26. I'm gonna lose health or get kicked off of my parents' health insurance.
Join the club.
Zoinks.
Zoinks, Scoop.
Big zoinks.
What did you do for your champagne birthday? Which I think that's the birthday where you turn the age of your birth date.
Oh, isn't that like your golden birthday?
Whatever. What's it called?
I call it golden birthday. Like my birthday's on the 22nd of October. So like when I turn 22, is that what you mean?
It's the same thing. Yeah. According to
I call it golden, but that's what I know it as.
Mine is this year.
Ooh.
The 27th on the 27th.
Of which one?
July.
Oh, July 27th. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to go all out. I turned 22 in 2020.
Oh, that was fun.
Exactly. Remote university.
Remote study abroad.
The way I'm gonna never shut up about this. How I applied to study abroad 4 times in college, canceled every time because of COVID.
Disrespect.
And I tried studying LA, Sydney, London. It was like a running joke. I got interviewed about it for BU today. It's just my luck.
I thought you meant for BU literally today on Sunday, February 18th, and I was like, oh no, BU.
Oh, I'm sorry, because their online magazine or whatever is called BU today.
Listen, but they couldn't they were like, you may not study abroad, but you can pop Showdown.
You know what? Oh, let me plug in Pop Showdown, Boston University's student-run television game show.
I used to be a writer and casting person on it, so
it was so fun. I used to be a co-producer and an editor. Great experience. I love game shows. I love pop culture. It really bonded me and Felipe. I made great friends there, and
that was the best part. The friendship.
The game show is still going on at Boston University. They have socials.
I think who cares about it now? It's us that we cared about.
There, but just to plug in Pop Showdown. I think for Insta is just maybe Pop Showdown. I don't really remember what the Insta is, but just if you type in Pop Showdown Boston University, it's gonna pop up somewhere.
We love to see
fully
it.
Recommend. And if you're a Boston University student, go work on that show. Get involved. Love it.
In terms of me, you can follow at the Brazilian Dragon on Instagram and TikTok to keep up with specifically Instagram what I'm doing comedy and podcast wise. You can follow my main at with the Fleep on all social media. Shout out if you have any ideas or you're listening to the podcast, let us know. Go leave us 5-star reviews on iTunes. Help more people discover the podcast, both the Brazilian Dragon main feed and the Scooby Snacks and Chats feed. We got a lot of things cooking here on the Brazilian Dragon Productions. We got some pre-production of a lot of cool stuff. The Scooby-Doo podcasting is back. We'll get to this as often as possible. Media Made Me with great guests like Matt Scott in your feed. Jules, we got to get you on Media Made Me also. I want to talk about the media that shaped your personality. Interview you for that. But we got a lot of things cooking. Pre-production on a series that has done a first season already here on the Brazilian Dragon podcast. You little super sleuths can try to figure out what I'm talking about. We in pre-production for that, and just a whole lot of shenanigans. We're having fun. We're doing cool things. We're about to do some expansion on the Brazilian Dragon. I'm excited for what 2024 has in store for us. Plus, in terms of pop culture, I've been reading Jeanette McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died.
I read that when it first came out.
It's really good. It's really, really freaking good. And also Beyonce's song, 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em. We're going to have a Beyonce party on March 29th. I'm going to get dressed up in cowboy swag. We're going to have a grand old time. And stay tuned to the Scooby-Doo Escape Room podcast, which is something ambitious we're going to try. I've never podcasted about an escape room experience, but I'm excited.
Scooby-Doo I cannot speak. Scooby-Doo Escape Room.
Words are hard. It's okay.
That is such a good
I was like, I want to do this. I keep hearing people talk about it. And I was like, why don't we just podcast about it? Make a podcast out of it. But lots of cool stuff is going to happen here on the Brazilian Dragon. Keep your attention to the feed. Please go rate, follow, subscribe. Again, 5-star reviews to be part of the squad. And let me know if you're listening to this podcast. If you have any suggestions for the Brazilian Dragon podcast, either reach out to me on social media or Felipe at BrazilianDragonPodcast.com is my email for this network. Lots of cool stuff cooking. Also, go watch Australian Survivor if you're an Australian Survivor girly. We're going to convert Jules into Survivor fan. That's what's on the agenda this year also. With all that said, this has been a great time here talking about the holiday season in the middle of February. Hop back into the Mystery Machine. Our next Scooby-Doo podcast will be Scooby-Doo Mask of the Blue Falcon. So until next time, everyone, obrigado for listening. Till bye.
Thanks for watching and listening.